I'm just trying to funnel it down to a way that brings the less amount of stress for me, right?
Yeah.
So like, okay, so like right now I do a bike a month. That's it. And I'll do helmets, a handful. Like I'll take 2 or 3 helmets in and just work on those in between. But I only do a bike a month. I take a deposit and I tell them it'll take about a month, right? It's usually done before that, but that way I'm not pressed on time. I tell them don't bug me. If you want progress pictures, I'll send them. If not, you're gonna get surprised, whatever.
Yeah.
That just trying to alleviate all the bullshit right out of the gate, you know? Because so many times you're mid-paint job and they start acting a certain way or whatever, just nightmares, right? And then you find yourself all stressed out and you're not having fun. And you're like, fuck this, dude. I mean, I'm the type of guy, if a customer gives me a hard time about something or if it's just not going good for whatever reason, I lose sleep over this shit. I stress out.
That's the artist in you, man.
And it's not worth it, dude. I tell my dad, like, why do we do this shit? You know, because he does the cars. So he knows. He's been a painter his whole life, so. Yeah, dude, it's, I actually just cut, if you didn't leave a deposit with me, I just cut them all, like right now. I told them, no, I changed my mind just to give myself some time to do shit like this. This last year I've been going.
Yeah, you've been going hard.
And I've burnt myself out. It's like, man, this isn't fun. And I know when it starts to get like that, it's time to pump the brakes, you know? Mm-hmm. And so, plus Jackie, you know, living up north, doing that, having to budget that time, and then she put on that Throttle Fest show up there, and I helped her a lot with that. So it was a lot. Yeah. You know, just been busy, but it's all been good.
It seems like the culture down here switched over the last couple of years where you almost didn't see as many baggers getting done up as now. It seems like most of the people that run the dynas and stuff have graduated up.
Yeah.
And so you're getting a lot more of those requests for like, hey, how much for a road glide, how much for this kind of stuff. And man, it's just so much more parts and so much more everything, time, materials, you know. And it's kind of like how do, and I know there's people out there, and this isn't me talking shit, I know there's people out there that do this on the side, similar to what you do, but to another level of, they're just getting into it, they followed all the YouTube stuff, they got the basics down, and they're able to undercut the average price for something by so much because, you know, a lot of the people looking to get the work done online, they don't really see the difference in quality, style. It's just, I need these 3 colors. I don't give a shit how it looks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You see that all the time.
All the time. Yeah. And unless you get blown up on Instagram and have a hate page on your shitty paintwork, then people don't know, you know? But I know for me, like the people that are trying to get shit done the cheapest are the biggest pain in the ass. And I'll straight up tell them. Yeah. I'll just tell them straight up, hey, I'm not trying to be a dick, but from my past experiences, the guys who are trying to get it done for the cheapest are the biggest pain in the ass. They want a perfect show bike, whatever, you know what I mean? And it's never worth it. I'll call it out, you know? I just don't have time for this shit because this shit gets annoying. And like I said, it's a side thing for me, so I want to, if it's not fun, I'm not doing it, you know? But lately, doing the Northern California stuff because of Jackie's friends, painting more bikes up there, it's kind of gotten to be a lot, you know? I had this whole year's booked, you know, into next year, and I never thought it was going to be like that, but one bike leads to another, you know, and people go crazy over it, so. Yeah, the baggers, dude, it's a lot. It's a lot more parts, it's a lot more everything. I don't have the balls to tell people prices like you or Schultz, you know, because I don't do it as good. So I'm not gonna say that. I'm not gonna be $5,000, but I'm not gonna be 10 or 12 either, you know? So I just try to find that middle ground.
You know, we met a long time ago. You're gracious. I think my daughter was with me on that trip in 18.
Yep.
You took us to lunch over to Hatchapee.
Yep.
If I'm saying that right.
Yep.
How'd you get into the paint stuff, man? Like even before the custom side, just painting fucking helps.
In general. So for me, it was 18. I grew up in Washington, and as a kid through high school and shit, I didn't know what I was gonna do with my life. I was working at Starbucks. I had no clue. I was stealing cars. I was doing dumb shit.
Yeah.
And depressed. My parents just went through a divorce, and it was just bad, right? And up there, it's gloomy and shit. Like, it was just all bad. So finally, my dad was like, you've got 30 days to pack your shit up. You're coming down here. And I always told myself, I'll never live down there. Because we're in the desert-ish, you know what I mean? And I hate how it looks there. It's just as depressing, even though it's sunny. It's fucking horrible. And, but it was so bad up there that it was like, all right, you know, I have no other option. So I packed up my shit, and then we ended up going down there. And it was just... I'm
listening.
It was a 3-day part-time deal at my grandfather's body shop, is what it was. So he brought me on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, run for parts, wash cars, scrub toilets, sweep up the shop, just all the grunt work.
Yeah.
Yep. And so I did that, and then I made friends with the painter's helper. He was super cool. So anytime he'd jam parts, he'd steal me and put me in the booth and let me shoot undersides of hoods and fenders and should jam parts for him.
Yeah.
So I could just get some gun time. I was priming stuff, and one thing led to another. He left. I started prepping for painters, and then finally got to the point where I had whatever paint company we were using at the time. I'd gone and done all the training. I was ICAR certified through everything.
Yeah.
So I was ready. You know, I was just waiting on that painter to quit, dude. And finally one day I'm blocking a car and I hear my grandfather and him in the booth going at it, and I was like, oh shit. I think my time is here. And I was fucking chomping at the bit, right?
Yeah.
Sure enough, dude. Slammed the booth door, my grandpa walks by me, he's like, get ready, that car's gotta be done by the end of the day. And I'm like, oh fuck, I'm the painter now. And that's what it was. I think for 5 years I was the only guy in the paint shop, prepping, painting, buffing, the whole nine, because it was right after the economy took a shit.
Yeah.
So we had just enough work to make decent money, but you're working for it, and there wasn't enough work to pay a polisher or a helper. So I had to fucking hump. But it was
usually
good.
that comes out of your
Exactly.
flag hours.
Exactly. So there wasn't quite enough work to pay someone. So it was a lot of work, but it was good. I was obviously young. I was 20 years old. You know, I was just ready to get after it, and that's where I learned everything collision-wise. You know, blends and mixing color, matching color, and that whole thing. So the custom stuff was really obvious fast, because literally at the end of the street, you hang a right, there was a custom paint shop there, Little Designs, and he had it made, dude. It was just a bitchin' little shop. His logo was sick. He had a bag C10 painted out front. He had his Harley next to it. He had sand rails out there, boats, you name it, customer shit out there waiting to get picked up. Everything was fucking bad. He was, at that time, just killing it.
Yeah.
And I was just starting out, and every day I'd drive by there to go to lunch, and I'm just manifested like, dude, I want to work there. I want to do, that's me right there.
Yeah.
I want that so bad. And I was always so scared to talk to the guy. You know, you're just intimidated, and I'm not that social, so I was scared. I wrote him a letter, dude. I said, if you ever need help, you know, hire me or whatever. And he was like, yeah, for sure. He wrote me back. Like, it was weird. I was such a pussy. But fast forward, I don't know how many years, quite a bit of years, I ended up pinstriping for him. So I was his pinstriper, and we were doing a lot of work together. And then he ended up getting into drugs, and he lost everything.
Wow.
And it was sad to watch all that go down the drain. He fucked over some bad people, and they almost killed him. And it was just, he had everything and lost it all. I watched it all. Yeah. And I learned a lot from that. But seeing his shop every day kind of got me like, man, I want to airbrush. It was the skull time, the flames, the tribal shit. It was all of that when it was just booming. And at first it was airbrush. I want to airbrush. And at that time I couldn't afford any of it. So we had an old, like a land speed car, like a chopped old Ford with a fiberglass nose. That was actually my first complete paint job. And it was in the paint shop. And after hours one day, my grandpa was like, hey, why don't you, since you're gonna paint that thing and sand it, why don't you just start pinstriping on it? I said, pinstripe? I ain't gonna pinstripe on that. Like, I don't even want to pinstripe. I was thinking in my head, I'm like, that's what old people do. Like, fuck that, that's boring. He goes, here's $20, go across the street to the paint store, get a can of One Shot and a brush. I'm like, all right, whatever. So I go do it, I come back, and I started pulling lines on this nose cone of this race car, and I was fucking hooked, dude. It was like, once I pulled one line, it was just, I don't know how my mind is, ADD, just focused on it. And it was a challenge I had to master. I just started pinstriping. And so for a lot of years, it was body shop painting, pinstriping on the side.
Yeah, I remember that's kind of what you were mainly
Back
focusing
then.
on, but doing when I first met you.
It was pinstriping for me, dude, for a long time. People didn't know I painted.
Yeah.
Painted every day. But it was just pinstriping was the hustle and learning and trying to get good at it. And so like after hours, I'd take in lowriders, anything, and I'd stripe them at night, stripe them on the weekends. And I was into mini trucks at the time too, so I'd paint my truck. You know, I had access to the shop. It was our family business, you know, so I was always in there painting panels, you name it. Mm-hmm. And right when I was really starting to fall in love with it and know this is what I want to do, we sold the shop. Once we sold the shop, it was like, okay, now what do I do? I started doing movie stuff and working down in Hollywood and painting for special effects studios down there, like hero costumes. So we were doing like Batman, Wonder Woman, like that actual hero costume. So it was pretty sick. But again, it's temporary.
Yeah.
You know, you're on for 3 months, you're on for 6 months, then you're nothing, you know.
Yeah.
And those painters down there at these select studios are so grounded, and they're like, that's their territory. So if you got any talent and you try to get in there, they're like, fuck you, kid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But that fast forward kind of got me into like, I need steady paychecks. And then I bounced around to a couple body shops, and then it was the aerospace thing because it was consistent, you know, just a steady paycheck. And it took a while to get in there because it's kind of a secret clearance kind of thing. So you got to know someone, and a buddy got me in, and that's how that whole thing started.
Yeah.
But for the custom stuff, it was pinstriping, grinding. I remember when I started striping at the Roadster show in Pomona, and I thought I made it. Yeah. Like, I did it. We're here, you know what I mean? I'm next to Tom Kelly and Hot Dog, and I'm a painter. Yeah. You know? And that was kind of the start of it. SEMA and all the bullshit, you know, going and striping, and it just kind of fizzled into custom paint. I just started spraying more at the shop. We got 2 shops at our house in Tehachapi on our property. Me and my dad share it.
So your dad still paints and everything too?
Yeah, he does hot rods on the side.
Oh yeah.
So he's a paint professor at our community college up there. So it's in the family.
It's, you know, it's funny. It's not funny. It's kind of, I've noticed this in a lot of people when I meet people that have done this their whole life. There's only a few exits.
Yeah.
Other than the grave, sitting there in the paint booth till you fucking die, right?
Yeah.
Basically, it seems to be teaching, or, you know, perhaps finding another place to go work or something like that. But it's rarely like, okay, I built enough, like, of a business and a brand that I can retire off of this shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because most people that you hire, like, they'll work for you for like 2 or 3 months, and then they'll think they got it, and they'll go start their own brand. You know what I mean, or their own business. And just it's such a volatile industry to be a part of. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, totally. And now it's like, I notice that a lot. I'm sure, I know you get it a lot. You go to a show or you go to an event, people come up to you all the time like, oh, you're so-and-so, I follow you. Okay, cool. Hey, I just started painting, take a look at this. And they start showing you projects and stuff they're doing. And it's kind of neat to kind of look back. Like, I always reflect back now that I'm sober and I'm thinking clear-headed, and I can kind of remember, you know, I've been trying to put myself back in time where things were a blur for a long time. And it's always a reality check when a youngster comes up and is like, hey, you know, look at my work. I remember me being that kid to certain painters, and that's what I was telling you earlier. I just root them on, you know what I mean? If you like it, do it. Have fun, stay patient, trust the process. It's not an overnight thing, you know? It's definitely not.
Yeah, and that's kind of like the advice I tried to give to the someone we had mentioned earlier that had the hate page about them. And it's, you know, social media allow you to grow faster than most of us ever could have in this industry prior to, but your attention can grow faster than your skill set. And what happens is that now you have this, because people associate a high follower count with like quality, or they must be good at what they do, or they're professionals. But even with all the day's information, like, it takes time for the muscle memory to become fluid, right? You can know the process of doing silverleaf, but I guarantee you the first couple tries, if not the first couple years, you're not going to have the consistency that some of the masters have now, like a Loki or something like that. You know what I mean? So it's time. And
Yeah.
most, like I was saying earlier, most people don't want to see it through. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they don't want to stick with it for long enough to actually become a real thing.
Yeah.
And sometimes, in my opinion, I think what makes you a good painter is how few mistakes you make and the fact that you fix them.
Yeah.
You know, because it's a mindset of not fixing them. That's laziness. That's something
Yeah.
that usually is equated to someone that, you know, doesn't have they don't understand what's at stake there, you know, because especially for nowadays when you ship things, if someone opens that box and they see that helmet and there's a fat ass run on the side of it,
Yeah.
bro, like
Yeah.
you're not down the street to go fix that real quick.
Yeah.
You know you saw that when you fucking sent it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
we
this-
just did a road glide, and it had the mid fairing piece.
Yeah.
I've never shot those before, so there was a whole backside that once it's on the bike, you look down, and you see.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Yeah.
So it's not painted back there. Same thing. He's up north. He's got to box the shit and send it for me to take 10 minutes, blow some color and some clear on it real quick and send it. It was just, I'm learning.
It
you
takes
know,
time,
it
yeah.
takes time. You know, I was never been in that scenario, and now I'll never do it again. You know. But
I always
you're right.
say that it was before social media. It was easier for people to make mistakes.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh
'Cause
yeah.
you wouldn't have
It's
a
fucking
page.
scary now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's scary because I don't want to be that person that's
Yeah.
out there that some other people have been in. I don't want that. So just for that alone, I'll make sure my shit's fucking,
Yeah.
you know. So yeah, it is a trip. Social media is crazy. It's weird how fast things can change for the good or the bad, right? I know just with social media alone, the whole Twitch thing last year when we striped his Indian, it was one of those deals where I was thankful for Instagram, you know, because obviously it got me in that scenario. But it was like something he put on his story that says, hey, looking for a good pinstriper in SoCal. I didn't even see that. I'm driving home from work. A buddy tags me in it, and I'm thinking, well, that was 30 minutes ago. This dude's already blown up. Like, I lost my chance.
Yeah.
I was just doubting it. I was like, there's no way. But I couldn't live with myself if I didn't try, right? So I just, something simple. Look at my page. If you want me to do your bike, I'll do it. Yeah. He hit me back right away. Nice. And I was like, pulled over the car. I'm like, what the fuck? Yeah. No way. You know, long story short, you get down to his house and we're bullshitting, and he's like, yeah, dude, like I probably had 15 people hit me up. He goes, I think you were the second or third page I went on. He's like, but the second I went on your page, I just knew I was gonna hire you. Just the way your page was put together, you look professional, blah, blah, blah. It was kind of cool to hear like how your page is your business card, you know, and it's your portfolio. And
it's kind of the first impression, you know what I mean?
It's your first impression. You go to your page, you go to anyone that's doing it right now, you know, it is, it's important. So it was kind of cool to hear that from him, you know, and now that relationship is cool, you know.
Has that kind of like turned into other work and things like that?
Yeah.
You know of, that you can trace back to it?
Yeah, so Indian is coming out with a new bagger. They're gonna give him one, and I'm gonna paint it at the end of the year.
Nice.
Yeah, so I'm excited. That's another one that's obviously got to be perfect, but I'm excited. You know what I mean? I like being under pressure and pushed. So yeah, we're gonna do that at the end of the year for him, and it's kind of weird how, as a kid, I rode BMX. I was always into motocross and dirt bikes. I always rode dirt bikes, but was never anything like what these guys are doing. But I just like the culture, Southern California, just the whole vibe of it. And I follow the scene from Supercross to freestyle, everything, right?
Yeah.
Always have. But it was weird as a kid. I always tried to like manifest, like how can I don't know how paint is gonna cross over into that world. I really have no idea.
Yeah.
But it would be dope if it did. And I think right now anyways, that's what I'm most stoked on is my moto friends that are doing big things because of my painting, which is, it's just weird.
Yeah.
You know, it's a friendship that comes over a pinstriping brush. You know, it's like, well, thank God I stuck with it. You know what I mean? Because if I gave up, I would have never been in that scenario. You know, I've friends at X Games this weekend, you know, with helmets I painted. I just think it's wild to sit back and look at it, you know. And
it's got a surreal vibe to it.
It's super surreal. Yeah. And these guys are killing it right now. They're taking golds, you know. Yeah. It's really cool. It's weird how it all comes together. Paint has gotten me in some of the wildest situations, dude, where I'm like, how in the hell does spray gun get me here? You know, it's like
I can attest to that, man. It's definitely got its way of getting you into circles, but like deep into the center of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Quickly. Yeah. And you know, sometimes it is a thing that you have to take a step back and realize like what the opportunities really are and what they can become based on your efforts of putting in the work. I mean, I remember when before I was even a custom painter, I was painting cars like kind of like you were. And I was really into the import car scene, like the Nissans and all that kind of stuff. Shop in Dallas, I walked in, just said, hey man, I paint cars, you know. And then he gave me a job to paint. I painted it, and then next thing we got close, and he's like, hey man, I'm going to California to go pick up front clips to bring back here. You want to go? And I'm like, well, fuck yeah. Yeah. So next thing you know, I'm at like back in the day in the early 2000s, like the center of the import car scene culture in Southern California. Like, how the hell does I can't even afford to paint my own car.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How the hell am I right here with all these people that I've been reading about in Super Street magazine and all this type of shit?
It's wild.
It's something that like I have to remind myself too, because I have a very, very love-hate relationship with paint.
Yeah, I know you do.
We were talking about it earlier. And you know, I go through waves where like I'm so stoked and excited to paint and ready to like try some ideas, and then I go through into another wave of, man, I just, you know, I got a good style that's easy to sell. Let me just stick with it and just fucking ride this wave a little bit longer. Yeah. Until something more, you know, firing comes back to me. You know what I'm saying? So back and forth all day long. Yeah. You know. Yeah. And I have tried to get out of it full time quite a bit, and every time I'm right there, I can get both feet out. Man, something happens. I got to put both feet back in for a while. Yeah. And you know, I'm just, I don't know, like I said, calling back to what I said a while ago, it's like there's no real end game to it.
Yeah, there isn't.
You know, so if you don't start figuring out what the next move is that is going to keep you from not breathing in, absorbing these chemicals in your skin for the rest of your life, you know what I mean?
Well, that's why I admire Schultz. Yeah. I was talking to him at Born Free about his new paint. Yeah. And, you know, that's a perfect example of how can I lay the gun down and start doing something else but stay in the game, you know, and still be relevant. And that's a good way to do it. I wouldn't even know where to begin to be a chemist to do that. You talk to him and the dude's a chemist. He knows his shit. Exactly. I was explaining to Jackie, I said, paint's kind of like dope. You know, if you think about it, it's stomped on and then it gets just, you know, distributed across the country. And Schultz is saying that he basically has some pure shit. Is basically what, you know. So I'm excited. He's going to send me some clear to try. And
dude, I've been my helmet down there. Yeah. I've done quite a few things in the last month and a half with the products, and I've had zero issues. Sick. You know, and
the way he was describing it, I was like, this sounds too good to be true.
Yeah, it does. I feel like he's got it under control. Once he can release it, and we see the price structure. Yeah. That's going to be the big thing for me with him, with that, because. And how they decide to work with their team, like the people that are going to be behind it, because I get nothing from the paint industry. That's why I don't lean into it. You know what I mean?
I know your relationship with that and your views on it, and I always think about you and what you say, and it guides me through decisions, right? And that's this last year. Yeah, it's been about a year now. I left Paint Huffer, messing with Brian, and went to Tropical Glitz. And I was working with K-Daddy for a long time, and that's all he used. And his shit was always A1, you know? So I'm like, let me just hit up Manny and just see like what they offer, you know? And I sent him an email. He called me and he said, first of all, I wouldn't call you if you weren't spoken for or vouched for. I said, what do you mean? He goes, I called a handful of painters in the industry and they all spoke highly of you and you're a good dude, so here we are. And I was like, well, I appreciate it, cool. So then we just started talking. And I said, he was basically like, what do you want? I said, I just want support. I just want some sort of something. Yeah. He goes, well, what is Paint Huffer giving you? And we're live. I shouldn't say it's whatever. But I said, not much, you know, honestly. So he broke it down and said, this is what we offer. And I was like, this is a no-brainer, you know, honestly. It's just a no-brainer. So I made that switch. So I think, do you get free paint? No. But do you get a hell of a deal? Yeah. It is nice to get free leaf and all of the dry goods are free. You know, that stuff's cool. I mean, anything. It is motivating to go in and be like, oh shit, I need some Silver Flake, and just order it and it's there. You know, or give me 25 books of Silverleaf and it's there.
Yeah.
You know, it's something, and I love it. You know, it's like the support in the last year with the team, like teams that have been supporting us, even on the bike, Lexin and everybody, and it's just been nice. Like, it makes things a little more enjoyable.
It has a sense of it gives you a sense of validation too. Not that anybody's seeking it, but when you create art, you're always you just need some kind of validation. It's like it's not to say I'll be all to what you create, but it keeps you on the right path.
It's like fuel.
Yeah.
Honestly.
It'll keep you going a little bit further, a little bit further.
It keeps you motivated enough to get in there and get it done. I tell people whenever I approach them, like, hey, if you send me this, I will put content out. Like, I will tag you guys, I'll promote you guys, because I'm loyal as shit, right?
Yeah.
Like, if someone's taking care of me, I'm ride or die with you.
Exactly.
You know, so I have no problem tagging you in anything, you know?
That thing is struggling.
Yeah. So yeah, it's been cool this last year to get some support finally through that, with the paint stuff.
Just knowing, I've been in some of these areas to just know what kind of profitability these paint companies make. You know, like specifically the custom side of things, whether it's the airbrush companies, the paint companies, the fucking tape companies.
Yeah.
Like, why don't they have a clear-cut, you know, path for individuals, not based on gender, to get to those levels to be a part of those teams?
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. If you knew right now that if there was a House of Color team that had an open door policy that you could get in, these is what we require to get to it, it gives you something to achieve.
Hell yeah.
Right?
Hell yeah.
You know, like, well, maybe I need to be better at social media. Well, let me find a way to show the world what I create better. Like, but without having anything, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like, I've heard of people just getting pallets of paint for free. I've heard of people that would get, you know, like, they'll just get brought to SEMA for the you know, the whole SEMA show, right?
Yeah.
But I've always tried to pitch to them, you know, my delivery is probably not the best, but I'm like, look, all you really got to do is make a fucking portal for the painters. A portal that we can order and get the paint from you directly, without having to pay the other two people that are going to buy it first.
Yeah.
And, you know what I mean? Like, sell it to us at that price.
Just a promo code.
That's all you got to do.
That's all it is. That's all Manny does. Just type in a code and watch the number chip away.
And so it doesn't make sense to me that like they're not out there. I mean, if you really think about social media, it's been like this in the paint world. It's like this in certain places of motorcycle world. Some of the biggest brands, they built their whole identity off of our work.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And sometimes when they're not even, and this is no digging anybody, because I'm great friends with Brian from Paint Huffer and other people, but I still will say this, that, like, you know, same thing, I'm close with Simpson, but Simpson doesn't create their own content.
Right.
We create it.
Right.
Right? Paint Huffer doesn't create their own content.
Yep.
It's created by the painters.
Yep.
So you're always, you know, you got to keep that, they got to stay humble.
Yeah.
You know, like, more than anything, because they are not creating the thing that's giving them all the opportunity in the world.
I agree.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's a bigger conversation to have there. But
yeah, sure is. Yeah.
I'm glad with Schultz getting into the actual manufacturing of paint side, because he gets it.
Yeah.
He understands it. And I think that it could, if anything, it's going to change the way custom paint is. And I think that might be more inspiring. It would make me want to make more posts about custom paint. It would make me want to show the world my process.
Yeah.
Right now, it's like it's kind of like a bad relationship that I can't find a way out of. But the sex is good every once in a while. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get it. Yeah. I don't know, man. It is weird. I try to just keep it fun. Yeah. It's a hobby, you know. It's sometimes it gets overwhelming, but it's weird. I have the same, like, if my phone's not ringing, I get depressed.
Yeah.
And if it's blowing up, I get stressed. It's like, dude, you know what I mean?
Fine line,
it's this weird fucking balance, you know. But life's been hectic the last year or so, I just started grinding, and it just paid off. Now we're having fun, you know, meeting Jackie, was the best thing because she pushed me into the Instagram thing. Like, I always did my own content, but I was never good at it. She's taught me a ton. But she was like, people want to see like a day in your life, like the opportunities, the shit you do, like you need to get this out there, you know? So she really pushed me, and it's paid off tenfold. I mean, it's definitely helped a lot. She's gotten me out of my comfort zone a lot, and she's just a cool person to have around. Like, she just motivates the hell out of me.
Yeah.
She rides, she's a business owner, she's into the culture. It's so cool to be able to go to events and you don't have to take your partner and make sure they're okay. Like, it's a no-brainer we're going to Born Free. It's a no-brainer we're going to Live Fast. You know, it's just kind of like, that we share that same passion.
Y'all playing the same sandbox.
It's so cool. You know, it's really cool. So yeah, having her in my corner has been dope. She's always giving me shit to paint and buying me a stencil. Like, here, try this. People will love this. You know, she's always just looking out for my best interest. It's pretty fucking cool.
Have you thought about doing any like pinstriping on the spot kind of things, or have you done much of that?
I have. Mm-hmm. I did. I mean, Ventura Nationals right here. I've done for years. I did the car show thing.
I trade you any bit of airbrushing skill that I have for the skill to be a proficient, confident pinstriper.
I hear you talk about it all the time, and I laugh because it's just, you've done it with an airbrush. You just have to do it with a pinstriping brush. Is the time, and we're in the same boat. I know what it takes to do the airbrush thing. You know what it takes to be a pinstriper. We're both at that page where we're not gonna do it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not. I know I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna sit there and fucking put that many hours into it. I just don't have the time.
I've been trying, because I understand it, like you just said, I've been trying to find a way to make it a part of a routine, to just have a brush in my hand, you know, let's say 3 days a week, and to produce something with it. You know, I know it's just seat time, you know what I mean?
That's all it is.
But also, like, I never really messed with one shot, and I don't understand the paint as well as I do with House of Color. So I've had other painters tell me, like, well, if you were using one shot, you'd probably realize that you might already be there, because it's easier, it flows better than the House of Color stuff that I use, right?
100%.
So I use that in the back of my mind sometimes as well. But man, just to be able to go, I tell like Lucky Strike and all these guys, like, you guys can go to an event. Lucky Strike will put some cans of paint in his tour pack and ride to Sturgis for a couple of days and make the money he needs to have in Sturgis there. I'm like,
if Monty's rolling around in a rig like he's got, there's something there. I don't know. I think it's the weirdest art form. It takes so little financially to get into. It's all time.
Yep.
And it's all experience. And the amount of money you can make off of $300 investment in some paint and some brushes is unreal. Now, once you get pinstriping, like you've seen me, I'll stripe a panel every day. I striped a panel every day or more for years and years and years, dude. Just to get used to how a design should look, and it's not too heavy here or there, just the proper way a striping design should look.
That panel you gave me, so it sits in front of, like, where I airbrush and do my graphics. It's a TV.
I see it.
My wife, TV in that panel.
Yeah.
Because I use it as, like, you know, whenever I do stuff, it's you have a great balance to your work whenever you do it. You know.
Appreciate it. Yeah. Once you get into it, though, it's discouraging for me when you get asked to letter something, and then you get humbled. You're like, oh my God, this is a whole nother world that I know nothing about. I'm fucking trash at it. You know what I mean? Like, in the gold leaf and stuff, you know, like, it's so much more than just pinstriping. To me, striping a design, I could stripe 500 cell phone cases in a day.
Yeah.
You know, it's nothing. I could, you know, but that's all I exercised.
Yep.
And so now it's like, okay, lettering, there's so much more I gotta learn. And it's another, where do you find the time?
Well, how do you feel like your progression with your graphic style in the actual paint work that you've done?
It's frustrating.
I feel like it's been coming a long way.
As long as there's improvement, that's all I can ask for.
Not that it was bad, it's just that, like, you, over time, you develop a sense of your own kind of, like, flavor and style, you know?
Yeah.
And I mean, realistically, just like what you were saying about the pinstripe of balance and spacing, that's the same thing with a paint job, right?
Yeah.
You put too much of one color in the wrong area, you
Yeah.
know? You also got to think, I always tell people, it's like, well, if you're riding a road glide, right, that you see all this. You want that to be a color that pleases you to see.
Yep.
Even though it might not work from the way the world's going to see the bike, but when you're riding and
As
you
the
look
pilot,
down,
yeah.
it's got to feel cool. It's like a cockpit of a badass car. If it looks like a Dodge Neon on the inside.
I know what you're saying, because I flaked and smoothed out the dash on my mini truck, and once that was painted and put back in, I was like, this is way more fun to drive.
Yeah.
You know, when everything's all painted inside.
Yep.
So I know what you mean. I think a couple bikes that I've done that have been done to where I'm pleased with,
Yeah.
right? It has gotten somewhere, yeah. I think that, I don't know if you saw that blue ST
Yeah.
that I did. That one I thought came out really cool. I was happy with that. Corey's orange Street Bob came out really good. There's a handful of them. That red ST I did, I liked. But I just try not to. I tell people, for me, my style, if you were to ask me, I just say less is more for me.
Yeah.
It's not because I can't make it busy. I just prefer not to. These bikes now, in my opinion, have so many performance parts bolted onto them. When you have a super crazy, unless it's a Lucky Strike Dwayne's bike,
Yeah.
like, okay, that works. It looks like it should be on a racetrack. That's sick. But more, like your majority of people that are riding a road glide now with every part bolted on it, if you've got a crazy ass paint job, to me, I'd rather just do a simple paint job that's done right and clean. It's two colors with a pinstripe or a gold leaf, and it's done, and you can enjoy the parts on the bike too.
Yeah.
It's a weird balance to me. So I always try to tame it down, to be honest. I just mini flake
It's harder to do a tame paint job.
It is. It
Yeah.
really is. But I think I appreciate it more. To me, it's pleasing. It's more pleasing to me. So
To the comment on like just less is more. One of my favorite painters is Loki, or not Loki. He is one of my favorite, but Loker Designs out of Oklahoma.
Yeah, shit's clean.
He
as
is the king
And
of
his shop.
simplicity.
His
His shop
shop's-
is phenomenal. He's the king of simplicity in a way that, like, the whole bike's done up. It looks badass, but it doesn't overpower anything. It looks classy. It looks like it belongs in a garage next to a Lamborghini.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
there's something to that I really appreciate, and I'm still to this day trying to tame my shit back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To where it's clean and classy. That means I got to be a better painter. That means I can't hide that little fuck up on the candy at the top with the graphic. You know what I mean?
I know.
So there's something to less is more
Yeah.
as being more valuable. It's the
Yeah.
same thing when you do I've had to paint a lot of logos on stuff, and sometimes the most simple ones are the ones that have little fades in it. You got to get just right, and
Yeah.
they're a
You're
bitch,
right.
man.
Those ones are hard. It's like tattooing. People say, I've heard a tattooer say it once, you think a nautical star is easy to tattoo because it's simple? It's one of the hardest things to do. You know, and it's the same thing in paint. You know, the simple stuff is super hard. You can't hide nothing. It's right there in your face. But yeah, I think for me, still just flaming anything is my favorite.
Oh, dude, flames.
It's just my fucking favorite.
I've been trying to get more people to flame stuff out. It's just people are like, oh, well, flames are coming back. I'm like, man, they really don't go anywhere.
No, it's a timeless thing, but
Yeah.
you will either love them or hate them.
Yeah.
You know, I have so many people tell me anything but flames, and then other guys are like, flame it.
Yeah.
You know? So we're doing Jesse's bike, Jess, UFC chick fighter.
Oh, yeah.
So we're doing her ST, and she wants it everything flamed, dude. Everything. She's like, her exact words, I want it girly as fuck. Pinks and shit. I was like, all right. So Harley, she works for Harley, actual Harley, right?
Yeah.
So she's coming out in the winter time now, fall, winter, and I guess Harley's gonna come to the shop with a film crew and put it on their
Badass.
YouTube and stuff. So that's another big one for the end of the year. I'm excited about that one.
That's fucking rad. I mean, that's a testament of like doing good work and standing behind your work. The opportunities will come if you're like.
I think just being a good person too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like being a stand-up dude. Even if you do wrong, we're not perfect, but fix it, man up, own it. Don't run from people. Don't take money and dodge them. You know, I've heard so many stories, so many lately that are like, what?
Yeah.
That happened? You know, the reputation painters have is unreal. They're drunks. They're flakes. they fucking take forever. You know, I hear it every day, and it's
Yeah.
like, not everyone.
True.
Not everyone. I know I'm not. I don't. You know. Yeah, it's a trip. The whole industry is weird, and I think I'm just trying to find a way, not out, but like we were saying earlier, like when it comes to financial like income and revenue, like what else can we do to make money when you sleep, you know? Like that's the goal.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could have your own flake line and push flake. You're not gonna get rich off that. Yeah, just trying to think of something. So we started this other brand, Dustin LFG, shout out to him, just did the first batch of shirts, and it's kind of a sobriety-based brand.
Yeah.
I really don't want it to have anything to do with motorcycles. Like, if it does, cool, but that's not the route I'm going. I'm not going to set up at a show, you know? But that's another creative outlet for me where I want to just do shirts and hoodies and hats, just like everyone else is doing right now. But
Yeah.
I want to kind of corner the sobriety, like the people that are at the gym trying to better themselves, and just kind of go that route, do some fitness clothes and just shit, see where that goes.
That's rad.
Kind of get out of the paint, not just slow down a little bit and just focus on something else. And
Yeah, I think to what you're saying is kind of what I've been trying to say is like, I'm not trying to quit. I'm trying to take on better projects suited for me.
yeah,
And not overwhelm myself. Stay involved in it so I don't lose the skill, but like don't overdo it to where I'm like trying to, like I took 2 of the newer Road Glide paint jobs in just before I hit this road trip I'm on, because I wanted to get some experience touching that new fairing, those new body lines, and I love it. It actually created a sense of like, I want to paint more of these because of that feeling. You know what I'm
hats
saying?
off to you for going to Covington's like you do. I trip out how you can arrive and knock out a paint job that is fucking killer and then leave, drop the mic and bounce. You know, I'm just like, dude, how? You know, there's a little bit of pressure there. There's a timeline, right?
Yeah.
And you're doing a handful of bikes sometimes. I'm like, dude.
Well, my process is pretty simple. It's because I sketch the paint jobs first.
Yeah.
They have a great painter there that gets everything painted, prepped. It's clear coated, sanded down, ready for art when I show up.
Cool.
And usually, if I have all the lines, if I have the sketch done before I get there, then I can leave my house at like 5 a.m. I can get to their spot at 12 noon, go have lunch with Dave or Jerry or one of the Covingtons, come back at 1, and by 7 or 8 p.m., the graphic is completely lined out with graphics, right? The next day, tape it up, first color goes on. They use PPG.
Okay.
So that stuff's very easy to layer on top of each other without ripping it back off with the tape and everything.
Yeah.
So you can, because it's more expensive paint, you can do more per clear coat session, right? So I get all the graphics done and leave. Clear coat session, while he's sanding that bike, I'm doing the graphics on the next bike.
Oh, so he's sanding after you clear? You don't have to do
I
it?
don't sand anything or clear coat.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So that's how it's quick. So it's just artwork. But
Sick.
like their paint jobs range from $10,000 to $20,000, and I go in there for $1,000 a day. And yeah, you could say, well, homeboy could just milk it, but like I could work for them for years and years and years, and then go up there and knock out a paint job that they're going to pay me $35,000 or $4,000 to do. They're going to sell it for $14,000.
Yeah.
Hey, I just made $4,000 in 4 days, and I didn't have to buy anything.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
They're selling that paint job. They also have their employee to pay their own bills, so it's like it's a win-win.
That's cool.
But if you get greedy and be like, oh well, I see what you're making on it, I need to get half of that.
Yeah.
That's where people fuck up, and that's, in my opinion, that's what like a lot of people do in the paint industry is that they start like, it's almost like an analogy of like counting your chickens before they hatch, or spending your money before you got it, or never feeling like you're making enough money so you don't put in the right effort for the work. Like, oh man, I should be getting $10,000 to do this. Like you hear it all the time in people's shops. Like, I should be getting paid more to do this. I'm like, man, that's the opposite of manifesting.
Well, 100%, and it also shows someone. There's a difference, dude, between people that are trying to make money. We all are, right? But and a passionate painter.
Yeah.
I talk to you. I know your blood is paint. So is mine. Like, if someone lives for this shit, right?
Yeah, of
And that guy is different than the guy who's trying to just go out there and get rich.
Yeah. There's some legacy aspect to it that I feel like helps push it on, because I want to be remembered as like something in the paint world, you know, not like the best. I don't care about that. I just want to be able to stand amongst the people that inspired me to get into it.
Same.
In some form or fashion.
Same.
You know,
I don't even think there is ever going to be a best.
Yeah.
Because there's so many that are so good and styles are different, you know.
Yeah.
You are already there, right? You're living it right now. You're one of the top 5 guys in the world, I would say. Honestly, you are. Totally, you are. You know, I know for me, if I could compare my style to someone that I respect his paint jobs, the way they're laid out, the simplicity, and the fact that he uses pinstriping in them in a perfect way, is Hot Dog.
Yeah.
You look at San Diego Customs booth, and to me, every fucking bike is just spot on. To me, the color choices are sick. They're simple, right? They're not crazy, but they're just fucking perfect. The pinstripe colors are cool. They're subtle. I try to incorporate pinstriping in all my paint jobs just because I enjoy it, and not a lot of people do it. So if you have a clean design on the fender, did it need to go there? No. You know, but I put it there because that's where my roots are.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I look at Hot Dog, I look at you, Lucky Strike. I think I wanted to bring this up because I saw the bike this morning, and I feel like it just doesn't get talked about enough, and it is hands down, probably for me, my favorite is Poland's bike.
Oh, Poland's?
Why isn't that thing like out there more than...
man, it's a good example of flow. Yeah.
It's unreal.
Yeah.
I look at that thing and I just drool. Like,
man, it's hard to figure out why certain things just don't hit the mainstream, or not mainstream, but they just don't hit an algorithm, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, that bike, that paint job, the color, I mean, Poland's definitely one of my favorite painters.
100%.
You know?
That's a given.
I don't know. Like, I have to agree with you. I don't know why that bike hasn't gotten the attention that it deserves, you know?
Yeah.
You know, me and Poland were talking about 2 years ago, and he was telling me, he's like, because I travel a lot doing podcasts and all this other shit, and he was telling me, like, I couldn't do what you do, like what I do, because I get out of a groove. Because I was asking him, how does he, like, stay consistent with knocking them out? Because when I leave, I got a 2-week window of getting reacclimated to working at the shop, so it's hard to get work back flowing.
Yeah.
And then you get into a groove again, and he was just talking about that. And at the time, we were also talking about some stuff for his Road Glide. But man, he's just, the way he is with helmets, he paints them so much. He sees those designs and whatnot in a way that, like, we don't. Like, you paint a lot of lowrider STs, eventually you're going to know those lines, if you don't already, to where you can almost see that whole paint job in your head. And that's 100%. How it is with me with Road Glides. I haven't painted a street glide in years.
Really?
You know? So when he's trying to design for his Road Glide, you know, I think it took him a while to get to where his style really shined on a motorcycle.
Yeah.
Not that there wasn't badass paint jobs before.
Yeah.
But when you do it more, it starts to flow better.
Yeah.
It starts to work better. You start to see where the money shots are.
Yeah.
Looking at the bike and I feel like he's on that cusp. I mean, that bike's a perfect example. He did a bike for a homie out here, Junior, I believe. That was a real clean black one, red pinstripe, kind of subtle, real clean bike. Yeah. That I think was at Born Free last year.
Yeah.
Badass, but dude kills it, man.
I constantly, you know, I'm checked all the time. I look at all your guys' work and I'm like, damn, we're far from it, but it is cool. I'm just happy to be friends with everybody. You know what I mean? And I've called you numerous times, like, I need help with this, or what are your thoughts on that? You know, does clear really not stick to leaf? You know, like, there's so much shit. I'm like, God damn. But they're stupid little questions, you know? But for years, man, pinstriping, I had some old timers that were around that I could have asked, but I'm so, I don't know, shy and stubborn that I just got to learn myself and to teach myself. And I realize now, man, I would be so much further if I would have just sucked it up and asked. And
I feel like if you're hanging around them, if you're in the space of them, you know, like, I have a weird conflicting, like, idea behind it. Because I feel part of me is from the hood where I feel like the game is to be sold, not told, right? There's part of me that's like that.
Yeah.
But there's another part of me that, like, I understand, like you said earlier, I understand where that kid is at. He's excited about his work, and he wants to show somebody. He wants to, like, be able to have a relationship like this, to be able to have questions answered and things like that.
Yeah.
And they think by showing their work to us, it gives us, like, oh yeah, he's at a level now where we can be friends, like it works that way or some shit,
Right.
you know?
Yeah.
But, you know, it's, to me, have you ever done like the airbrush action? Remember that magazine? They used to do those classes.
No,
like
but
in Vegas
I did the rendezvous a bunch.
Yeah.
Like as just a guest, I would just go down there and panel jam with everybody.
Yeah. So the airbrush action thing, it came to Dallas like in 2016 and 2017, and I'm like, even if I'm gonna pay to be there.
Yeah.
And I took the pinstriping classes because I wanted to learn more of the one-shot stuff. The first time I went, I did the same thing. I was so eager to show all the other painters I grew up following who I was that I didn't learn anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I was so busy trying to be seen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I saw what I was doing through someone else doing it. And I was like, oh, that's gross.
Yeah, it's cringy.
Yeah. So the next year I came back and I just focused on like trying to soak up and learn it. And then all of it changed when I did that, because then the guy's like, hey, well, we want to bring you into the teaching thing. And I'm like, fuck yeah, that'd be badass. Like, and then they folded after that.
Oh, yeah.
The whole airbrush action thing.
I have like an odd opinion on the classes. Especially for pinstriping, I feel like I don't want it to get too saturated.
Yeah.
Because I'm so passionate about that art form, and I know how much time you really got to devote to it.
Yeah.
And like you were saying earlier, like the people that don't devote that much time to it, that think they should be further along, and it gets messy. But, you know, I don't really, do I like teaching people? Yeah, I'll teach you if I feel like you are that passionate kid that really is going for it. I don't want to waste my time with just anybody, you know? So, and I don't want this state or country filled with 5,000 pinstripers. You know what I mean? I just don't. I'd rather it stay small and be organic, you know, and traditional, and just because you know, I did it the hard way, and sometimes I'm like, everybody else should, you know, but that's not the way it is now. You can go to a custom paint class just about every weekend now. It seems like, you know.
I thought it'd be cool to do a class where it was intimate. There's only like 5 spots or something like that, and it costed more.
Yeah.
You had to invest more of some kind of way to be there. But you got more than just like, this is how you pull a pinstripe line. This is how you spin leaf. I think that there's so much more aspects, like we were talking about earlier, about the like understanding how to grow in today's market, and how to, if you are good at making reels and you start getting big, to humble yourself, to realize that like your followers don't mean that you're a better painter than somebody else. Like, you know as well as I know, a million people that'll fucking blow us out of the water that probably don't even have Instagram.
Yeah, no shit.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean shit. It just means that like you may have better opportunities coming your way. But you better be prepared to fucking like answer those calls. Otherwise you're gonna, you know, if you take on those jobs and you flunk so badly, that could be devastating for your whole identity.
It is nerve-wracking at times. I've gotten calls to do Pebble Beach cars at this restoration shop, and we did the Green Goddess Rolls Royce. I don't know the exact worth. It's millions for this car. And they just wanted double tan lines down the belt line, and right in the middle of the door, this little insignia. Super simple, right? If it was a Honda Civic, I'd knock it out of the park. You get there, they're underneath, the car's on jack stands, they're underneath it just with brushes and shit detailing this thing with mirrors and lights, and dude, I'm shitting my pants. I'm sitting there like, oh my God, like what the fuck have I got myself into, you know? But it's a situation like that makes you good. You gotta do it, it's a double line, but it's gotta be perfect. And it just makes you, and the car is fucking 2 miles long, you know? And dude, I swear to God, I striped that car and I'm driving home, I'm already 30 minutes down the freeway, I get a call, hey, need you to come back. So did I fuck this whole thing up? Like I'm just panicking.
Yeah.
He goes, we measured, like looked at one side, looked at the other, and one's a 1/4 inch shy. I'm like, a 1/4 inch? Like, who gives a shit? You know, in my head, I'm like, he's like, I gotta have it perfect, dude. Just bring the point just a little bit more. I'm like, okay. Turn around, drove all the way back. There you go, you good? Everyone was happy. I'm like, all right.
That's all you had to do is a point.
Just bring the point in a little bit more, like 1/4 inch.
Man.
It was unreal. Like, that's how they look at that.
Yeah.
But you take that as an experience and you're better. But something that wild.
Yeah, I'd be shitting bricks. Yeah.
I was, dude. Yeah, it's weird. And even Twitch's thing, like, yeah, I can pinstripe your bike. It's not a big deal. You get there, you know, you meet an idol, dude, someone you've looked up to your whole life, and you get in your head and you overthink things. And I could stripe a bike in reality in my garage for that'd probably take me 2 hours, you know, but I was there all day, you know, because I'm just making sure everything was, you know, you just get in your head. But that's the situations like that are what make you better. That's all it is.
Yeah.
You can rise to the occasion or you can flop, you know, and
you'll learn from both.
Southern California, dude, like, I thought about it yesterday and I was riding PCH and you were like, you live in the best place. You live where everyone wants to be, you know, as far as location wise. And I'm riding by the beach yesterday and I'm thinking, I was replaying when you said that, like, don't leave, dude, you're going to regret it. Like, I'd love to live where you're at, you know, and you think about this California and the opportunities. When my phone rings, dude, I don't know what opportunity it could be.
Yeah.
And it's proven itself numerous times. It's wild just because of where we live and the scene we're in, and it's so cool.
I mean, all industries seem to, like, there'll be a Midwest, you know, place where their operations are, their headquarters is, but as soon as they want to do something, they look to the West Coast. And that's why when I first started getting into all this custom culture stuff, you would meet people in NorCal, SoCal, Vegas, and they'd all be from the Midwest. Like painters, airbrush guys, pinstripers. They moved here for the opportunities.
Yeah.
Because
just like an actor.
just like a skateboarder. Just like so many things, right? And so when they do that, like, it makes you wonder, okay, well, it's not that, like, they won't ever look in the Midwest or the East Coast or whatever, but for a brand to just look out here, and it's literally a collection of all the best people to do what they do, whether they're from here or not. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just easier for them to sift through that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And I don't know, like, moving here would be a dream, but it also, like, I don't know, like, I also like the fact that I can leave it. You know?
Yeah, well, that's cool. Your chick's got family in Venice, right? So you can come here and get your doses of it. You know, you're familiar with the state for sure. You've been all over it. I'm learning a lot more about the state just going up north and seeing Jackie all the time. It's like, man, she's showing me Monterey and like spots in Santa Cruz. I've never been up there, dude, and I'm just like fell in love with it. Like, it's fucking awesome up there.
There's a hotel on the water just north of like literally Monterey, first hotel you'll see, and I love staying there because you can just park, walk out on the beach, catch the sunset. Yeah,
and the water there is different color, dude. It's sick. Yeah, it's something to be said about that. I think now this last year with, you know, not to always bring up sobriety, but for me getting sober, like I have a whole new group of friends now that mean the world to me, because you kind of get out of that lifestyle and you realize those really aren't your friends. You know, they were just drinking buddies. And now I've got myself surrounded by such solid people that are killing it too. It's hard to not be motivated now when your buddies are killing it. You know, LFG, Shifter Crew, everybody's got their brand, everybody's doing their thing, and everybody's got each other's back. Everyone's doing their hustle. And it all comes together. And I always bring up you and your friends in the Midwest of how when your podcast first started and you'd always have your homies on and stuff, I always admired that. I was always like, man, Jason, his crew of dudes, you know, I admired it. I was just like, dude, that's so rad. You know, you can see the love and the fucking, just the bro shit, you know?
Yeah.
But it was like, man, that's rad. And I told Taylor, I was like, man, we need something like that in California, like something, like get us on the map, you know?
Yeah.
And now I feel like it's getting there, you know, with everybody. We're all like one big family.
Yeah, I can see. I mean, literally, I'm
really cool.
going to be staying with Taylor, Shifter Crew, tomorrow night. You know, we're doing a podcast with him because I haven't had him on yet. And, you know, all those guys, same thing, you know, Dustin down there with LFG and even the guys that were around before, you know, with LFG. It's cool seeing these new waves of like people finding a way to make their mark on the industry, but also to just, the way I look at it is like they're creating something they felt like wasn't there in their own kind of small nuanced ways, right? You could say, okay, Shifter Crew is another t-shirt brand. Yeah. But it's a group of friends. Yeah. The same way that LFG was a group of friends. Yeah. And it all
look at the Live Fast guys.
Yeah.
That group of friends is solid, as solid as they come.
Yeah.
And we're all tied in. We're all buddies, you know? Taylor's literally, we talk every day almost, you know? I'll be driving up north in the middle of the night, dude. 4 hours, you know, the 5, the boring ass 2.5 hours on the 5, it'll be 11 o'clock at night, 1 in the morning, and he'll call and talk to me the whole way. Just
Makes
to keep
quick,
just to keep me company, and we laugh and talk shit, and just, it's cool, man. Just solid people. I feel like it's healthy now, you know? There's no toxic drama bullshit.
Yeah, you know, I think that because of social media over the last like 20 years, we've all been able to break down barriers that have existed within the paint culture, within the motorcycle culture, to where we can all kind of coexist and work together, be friends, even though we're competition in some alternate universe.
I send your number to all kinds of people. Yeah. I'm not afraid to I don't care. I get hit up all the time. Like, you want that? Nah, I'm not your guy. This is your guy. I don't care. You know what I mean? Like, that's just the way it is, you know?
Exactly.
I'm not going to sit there and try and mimic what someone else's masterpieces are, you know, like, just go do it.
Yeah, but it's also like you know, like you were saying, like these, you know, these guys that are creating things are they're just trying to create something they feel like they can help make a place where other people can experience what they're experiencing, right? Mm-hmm. Like we didn't invent a camp out when we started that. Like, that shit's been going on for years. Yeah. And then even more recently, you've had Kernville camp out for years. You've had all the things that like Biltwell's done for years. Yep. We just wanted to create something that was different, that focused mainly on performance motorcycles. Yeah. And they made everybody have to come to the middle instead of everybody going to one side or the other. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And we found and met a lot of really great people across the country from that. Yeah. That are, you know, most of us are still friends to this day, know each other.
I always want to ride out to that because it's usually my birthday weekend, I think. Yeah. It's right around my birthday, so I'm always like, man, I want to go. But I never get to ride.
Dude, I tell you what, as much as I love to talk healthy shit about people in California and never leaving California, I've always said this: you guys got to go through fucking hell to get out of here.
It's the truth, dude. It is the truth. There's no doubt.
You either got to leave, you either got to be north and go. One of the most boring rides ever is across the 80 through Nevada. Yeah. But it's also like in SoCal, if you just hit the 10, get it over with, leave before the sun comes up. Just knock it out in the dark. Yeah. It's so much better.
I'm dreading going home. I just got to go through the desert for 2 hours. I'm dreading it. But yeah, that's you're right about that. Yeah, it's a trip. Yeah, that's cool. You're gonna be with Taylor tomorrow.
Yeah,
that's rad.
Yeah, I've been wanting to, you know, I really wanted to focus this trip around of really, really trying to bring on new guests that I haven't spoke to before. You understand? It's kind of like a returning customer versus a new customer. So it's easy to take on a job from someone you already know you've done before. Like, I've already painted for this guy. I know the vibe. Let's just do another one, right? Yeah. When you're doing podcasts that you haven't done one with people, I mean, I've always got like some kind of level of interest in who they are, but you never know, like, am I going to do 12 podcasts that aren't going to, you know, they're going to flop as far as like, you know, bad viewing, you know, not good audio. Like, I don't know how this is going to turn out, but hopefully it'll be okay.
Hope
you know what I'm saying? But then don't touch it.
I'm not.
But no, it's all, we're just fucking with you.
Hell yeah.
But no, it's like I really wanted to do this trip and bring on a lot of new faces. And man, honestly, I had the entire trip planned to go see you on the way out. Okay. Because I knew you were up in that area, so I was like, all right, well, I wanted to ride the Eastern Sierras all the way up. So I was like, I can slide up and go catch you and then go do it. Yeah. And then when I was riding through California with the heat, I'm like, all the shit I want to do on the eastern slope,
You're like, fuck that.
It's like fucking too hot.
It's hot as fuck.
So I'm like, and then I saw you had posted that you were going to be out here. So I was like, dude, let's make this work.
No, I'm glad we finally pulled it off and we were able to do it like this.
Yeah.
You know, I was yesterday, I don't know what happened with the text messages.
Dude, I rolled back up and looked. I was like, I did say tomorrow.
Thank God you texted me.
Yeah.
Because I rode to like Santa Monica.
Oh, shit.
PCH, dude. And I was just waiting for you to text me. I was like, I'm just going to keep riding. When he texts me, I'll just meet him on the road.
Yeah.
And then you hit me up. It was like 2 o'clock. And I'm like, well, I guess I'll go home now. And I just fucking rode all the way back. But I was going to ride PCH regardless.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you had made a post about like going out to like Neptune's and whatnot.
Yeah.
So I think the night before that, me and my wife went out and got fucked up.
Yeah.
Like, great night. And then yesterday, we woke up at like 7, because we're still kind of on Texas time and shit. We woke up about 7, and then kind of just, I was texting you. I started messaging all the people I'm trying to like connect with, because I was trying to stay off my phone for Monday and Tuesday. And then I messaged you and said, I did say, hey, tomorrow, do you want to do this podcast, blah, blah, blah. And then we fell back asleep. And we slept till like literally when I texted you.
Oh, shit.
So about 11 o'clock, we crashed and then fucking just slept till like 2 o'clock.
Okay.
And then I woke up and I had a message from you and Yanni from fucking Power Plant and all these people. And I'm like, no, tomorrow.
That's funny. Yeah, okay. Yeah, it worked out. I mean, at the end of the day, I got to ride the beach. I was fine.
Yeah.
It didn't matter.
Yeah, I came to 101 down.
Okay.
But I'm definitely riding the beach back.
Yeah.
It's just solid traffic going that way. You get to go take this little pass thing up.
Yeah,
there,
so
right?
I'll just be on here for a second and catch the 126.
Yep.
That'll take me to Magic Mountain,
Yep.
and then I'll take the canyon home. But yeah, what else you got going on in the future? You got anything this year? Any big things?
Not really. I mean, this trip's like the biggest thing I've ever tried to do. Yeah, just get home and start working on some, I'll probably open the books and take on some more paint work. I mean, I'm pretty caught up on helmets, which is a good thing. I've been like 20 helmets in the hole for the last 4 or 5 years. Like, always got 20 helmets on the books, which has always kept me at 6 months to a year. You know what I mean? To get things done. But now I got it to where like I have 2 helmets on the books.
Oh, cool.
So I want to get to where I can like offer those helmets quicker.
Yeah.
But I'll have to shut the gates quicker.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I'll take 2 more here. I'll get 2 out. I'll take 2 more. So I'm always like 6 helmets in instead of 20. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What happens is I got a lot of those customers that'll be like, hey man, I need 3 helmets for Sturgis. Got to do it, because that's somebody that does 6, 7, 8 helmets a year. You know what I mean? So it's a tough one. But I really want to paint some more bikes, but I don't want to just paint, like, not to sound pretentious or anything, but I want to do a bike that's for something. Like, this is a build we're doing for SEMA, for Sturgis, for this thing.
Like your Willie G bike was.
Yeah, like that. I want it to have like a purpose.
Yeah.
Not a $12,000 paint job on a bike, and eventually next year he's gonna get the money to go do some parts for it.
Right.
I appreciate that. I think I'm super honored to have that opportunity, but I want it to be for more things than
I get
that,
what you mean.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I cut down all the.
It sounds like an arrogant asshole. To
it
say
does,
like that.
dude. But I just did that. I kind of weeded out the. I don't even know how to say it nicely.
See, yeah.
Okay, but I kind of weeded out some of the stuff, and I just have the important, like, real important jobs on the books.
Yeah.
So that I can focus on those and just be excited about it.
Things that create more opportunities.
I don't want to go into a good opportunity burnout. I want to go in creative, full of energy, and ready to hit it.
Yeah.
So I just want to make sure that that's what happens, because these are bikes that we can't. There's no room for error. And it could be a really good opportunity. It's just, it has to be. And people chop my name up, like, they fuck it up all the time. And I feel like it's too late to change it, so I just run it. But it's supposed to be finish effects, like refinish, like paint effects. So finish effects. To me, it has a ring to it.
Yeah.
But so many people FX. And
that's how I've been saying it forever.
But why would it be FX? What is FX? FX is nothing. It's effects. Now I'm thinking, well, maybe I'll get rid of the FX and then I'll just write out the word effects. You know what I mean? But it's too late now to change shit. So I'm like, fuck it.
Well, yeah, people hear it more. Like, now that you said it, I'll probably change my I'll probably say in the intro.
It's like when people say your name wrong, I'm like, God damn it. But it's my own fault. But yeah, your logo's pimp. That shit'll. It looks good on a shirt. I still have that one that Brian sold. With your logo big as fuck on the back.
Dude, that
sweat patch, dude.
Yeah.
I went to golf in Vegas with that, dude. I was dying, dude. It was
no wind passes through that fucking print, dude.
What's that fucking glow in the dark golf shit? That fucking spot where you drink and fucking hit golf balls at the driving range.
Top Golf?
Top Golf.
Yeah.
That's what we did one night, and I had that thing on, dude, and I was drenched.
I put it on one time. And,
I feel like a turtle, dude.
I'm a little too thick to be wearing anything that ain't thin and lets air pass through. So, yeah, I was like, cool. I mean, I have a lot of shirts like that I just never wear, you know? And I don't like busy shit.
Yeah.
Like all the clothing I want to make, it's almost like pointless because I want to do like a crew neck sweatshirt that just has like my little FL logo, like a polo logo.
Oh wow, that's small?
That's small, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I want it to feel like it's shit you wear. Like, I mean, dude, my wardrobe is fucking Walmart, dude. Like, I wear a sweatshirt that I bought in San Diego 2 years ago. Some Levi's that you know you can get from fucking. So I'm not like a designer clothes kind of dude, you know what I mean? But I like very clean shit that like, well, what is that? Like, I used to always like the Ben logo, the Ben Davis stuff.
Yeah.
I love that flavor and that style. Like his old hoodies that he would have.
It's timeless.
Timeless.
Yep.
You know? Hold on, guys.
These trash trucks have been up and down this road all morning, dude.
It's a fucking all-day event. That's the same way they are in Venice.
Jesus.
You hear it for an hour and a half in the same spot. You're like, what?
Yeah,
How
what
many
are you
different
doing?
things are there, you know? But yeah, the logo stuff, the shirt, the clothing, like I want to get into it. I've been wanting to do it for years. I just wanted to find my own angle to do it that wasn't, you know, just wasn't.
I'm learning a lot through Taylor and Dustin. I like this brand we're doing now. Like I don't know anything about that. I know it's a saturated market. Everyone's doing it right now. I'm aware. I don't like that it is, but it is what it is. I just that's why I'm hoping like the angle I'm going for is just like. I'm not saying there's a ton of money in the sobriety genre. There probably isn't. But, you know, I think for the guy who's struggling, guy or girl, you know, it's motivating to put on something that's got a positive, you know, meaning behind it.
Yeah.
I like putting on my friends' brands every day.
Yeah.
You know, I don't buy anything, just friends' clothing, you know. I think it's cool.
The concept behind it is like it's like a flag you're wearing, you know, like, hey, I'm a part of this culture. It's the same way, like, you know, like 10 years ago when you'd wear a Dixon flannel, like there wasn't as many people that wore them. So you see somebody and you're like, hey, we're into the same shit for sure.
Yeah.
You know, and when you see a logo, like it's kind of like burned in your brain.
Yep.
You're like, and you'll double take like, oh, that's a fucking Schultz logo.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I get it, the whole concept of it, you know, and I think that like Jeff Holt told me a long time ago that because he got so many people, friends in so many parts of the industry, that he would have so many people sending him stuff that he just said, all right, I'm only wearing white t-shirts, black t-shirts, no logos. I'll wear logos on my hat. That's it. And I was like, that's cool.
Yeah, that's a good way to do it.
But I get the whole thing, and I don't know. Like I want to give people, they want to wear something. I'm going to do a shirt for like our Patreon that where the only way you can get that is through there.
That's cool.
That way there's like some exclusivity shit.
Yeah.
Because I like what I have now where the only shirts that I have out there, like they got it from our camp out or they bought it from Born Free Texas from me hand to hand. And there's one shirt out there that like I printed 50 shirts and sent them out to like people that like, had helped me or friends of the like close friends to the brand and stuff.
That's
like
cool.
That.
I know Jackie had Matt Sabbath design the show shirts this year, and they sold out. So she did 2 or 3 runs of shirts. They sold out quick.
Nice.
But the artwork was just badass. It was super cool. I don't know if you'll be in California next year, but you should come out to that one, dude.
Yeah,
it was cool. This year was a hit, dude.
It was?
Yeah, her first show.
What was the show called again?
Bay Area Throttle Fest.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was...
What time of year is it usually?
We did this one in May, and it was kind of sketchy because we were like, the weather could be hit or miss, but it was beautiful. It was perfect. This year is going to be July, or next year will be July, and it'll be at a different spot. But we had Pullen doing stunts. Delacruz came from Canada. Unknown was there. Everybody, dude. Dustin, Taylor, everybody showed up from San Diego all the way up. There was, I think she had 60 or 70 vendors. Stay Rowdy, everybody was there. Lexin. We didn't really know the total number of people, but from Harley's events, everybody kind of put their guests out there, 4,000 to 5,000.
God damn, that's
yeah,
huge.
dude, it was massive.
And where did she host it at?
This one was at San Jose Harley, so we have a good relationship with them. So they did us like, hey, you guys can use the parking lot and stuff.
Yeah.
And their parking lot is huge, so we took that over, but it's already outgrown that. So this next year, there's talks on a couple different venues. She's talking to the city. I mean, she's doing it.
Doing the work.
Yeah. So she really wanted to put something on the map for Northern California, like a banger up there, because there really isn't anything.
There hasn't been anything in a while. I mean, you had FXRs of California for a while.
Yeah.
You had there's a show in Dixon that was pretty fun for a while. Man,
it kind of
does
died.
Hollister still pop off like it used to?
So it died. So she's like, I want to put something together. It's weird talking. Like, I remember the night she was like, I have this idea. And then the day of the show, I pulled her aside and I'm like, soak all this in, look around.
Yeah.
You know, and she's just like, I'm like, you created this shit. And I sat there and watched this girl just grind and put it all together. She did it all herself.
Damn.
Yeah, dude, it was unreal to see what she pulled off. It was pretty fucking crazy.
That's
it was cool.
Man. Yeah, it's
rad.
like I said, we need these things, and we need people to. It's not that anybody's inventing something new. It's just that like
keeping it alive.
Keeping it alive.
And doing it right.
Yeah.
You know.
And you're taking this tried and true idea, and you're adding what today's day and age needs and wants at it to make it modern, make it fit today's culture. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Brad from Crash Inc., all the Oregon boys came down. I didn't even know they were coming. The night before, we met up at a bar, and Brad's sitting there. I'm like, what the fuck?
Hell yeah.
Yeah, it was cool. Handsome Rock, everybody was there. It was neat. It was really cool. She did a good job.
Yeah, I need to meet her, man. I need to meet her and get her on the pod too for doing that kind of stuff. She's in San Jose. So yeah, I'll try to like find a way to kind of cut. I usually drive out here at least once a year, and I ride at least once a year.
Yeah, so just stay in contact, and next time you come through, try to link you up with her. She's got her own barber shop down there, and she's busy, but she'll definitely make time.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man, I think we did pretty good here.
Cool. I appreciate it. Thank you, seriously, for taking the time.
Thank you, man. You've been a solid dude for all the years I've known you.
I've listened since episode 1, man. Yep.
Oh, you've seen the ups and downs.
I've seen it. I've heard it. No, it's cool. I'm glad it finally worked out. It worked out bitching.
Oh, yeah. All right, Steve, thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Cool.